Yeah, good day, everyone. Wherever you are in Nigeria, Africa, or anywhere in the world, you're welcome to this wonderful show, this wonderful evening. We are going to have a lovely time at Start Your Marriage Right Academy, YouTube, and we'll be discussing a very interesting topic. My name is Nedu Mobi, the co-founder of Start Your Marriage Right Academy, also referred as the Odogu of Family Systems, the King of Happiness, married to my lovely wife, the Queen of Happiness, who will be sharing this passion in building family lives and also preparing singles to have a family life that will be enjoyable, beautiful, and lovely. We all deserve that this life that is lived once ought to be lived wonderfully, lovely, and exciting. And so we are going to be discussing many issues this evening, and I also enjoy you now send the message to any WhatsApp group, any of your friends or family members where you have men, young men preparing for marriage, already married. Tell them, send them the link, tell them to join, because this evening we are going to be discussing what will help men become better in relationship as fathers, as brothers, as co-workers, and especially in the family life and in relationship. And so you can also chat us in the box, send your messages or send your questions. Time will permit us to also handle that. With me also is one of our finest in the industry, a gentleman I respect so much for his impact in family life, not just in Nigeria, in Africa, and all over the globe. He's one of the best sorted after when it comes to the industry. Very young and vibrant. I always admire his calmness. And the way he tells stories is so amazing. Sometimes I wonder how he connects common stories to concepts, and like Jumon is too much. So welcome with me, Mr. Jumon Odutoya, the lead coach of at iNature, a certified family life coach and master of NLP practitioner for over 15 years. His experience in supporting families through counseling, education, and intervention. He is passionate about fostering healthy family dynamics, enhancing communication, and empowering individuals to overcome challenges, both in career and family life. He is the founder of iNature Academy, an online school geared towards building quality life in Africa and the world at large. He is a publisher who has authored 10 books. Wow, wow, wow. And produced 2 short films. Jumo, tell me this one. No. He is proficient in developing personalized treatment plans, conducting therapeutic sessions, and collaborating with multidisciplinary team to ensure holistic family care. He is a husband of one gorgeous, one wife who, not these people that tell us we can marry 2 or 3, and a father to 2 amazing champions. This evening, I will be sharing the topic how men who struggle with emotional vulnerability in relationship can overcome it. And this is a very interesting topic because um, when we look at the society we live in, we often realize that women talk more. When it comes to the marriage, the women want to share, they want to be open, they more socialize, they more share their problem more. And it's easy for them to build intimacy more than the men. Men struggle to build satisfying relationship. They struggle because they will be having unfair judgment, rejection, or vulnerability. So today we are exploring this topic in such a way that whoever that joins us or listening to this topic after today will overcome vulnerability in relationship as a man. It is not just about learning it, but how you are going to apply it uh, to use it for your own self and to also in the relationship you are, so that you will enjoy the best of your relationship and also with your partner. So, Joel, you're welcome.
Thank you, Nedum.
How
Thank you
has
for
your day
having me.
been? How has your
Ah,
day been?
it's been great. It's been fulfilling. Yeah, I think this might just be the right cap to close or end the day. So it's been a fruitful day so far.
Oh,
Thank you
thank you
very
so
much
much.
for having me.
Yeah, mine has been also great. And I'm so excited to do this with you. I know we have
Thank you.
known
Thank
for a
you.
very long time, but this is something we are doing together for the first one. So I'm looking forward
Exactly.
to that. It will be so exciting, and everybody who is joining us will enjoy the day. And like the topic we said, how men who struggle with emotional vulnerability in relationship can overcome it. So, on a lighter note, Juwon, when you hear the word vulnerability in relationship, what comes to your mind?
Um, First, let me even first say this particular topic. Um, it's a topic that is going to. I'm hoping that a lot of men can sign up and have conversations in this area,
Mm.
because many of the things that are happening even in homes and families today, um, one can easily connect them to the challenge with us guys, being vulnerable and connecting emotionally with our partners. So when I heard the word vulnerability, well, if you ask me now, vulnerability with my present state of mind, I would define it as strength, really, because it is just identifying with your authentic self. But again, I understand that vulnerability for to a large extent means showing some form of weakness, uh, trying to be, I mean, I mean, not trying to appear weak, trying to appear strong so that people do not trample on you or take you for granted. You displaying strength in areas where you probably are weak in. So vulnerability is being open again. Also, is being open, is being expressive to really share what your true thoughts, what your true feelings about a situation is. Being yourself majorly, that's what vulnerability is. And so when I look at defining it as being yourself, as far as I'm concerned, that's a strength. That's a strength, because authenticity is really a strength. So that's how I would describe vulnerability.
Yeah, thank you for that. And when we now look at vulnerability in relationship, when it has to do with men, I usually feel for me that why will I, as a man, show my weakness?
Mm,
Show my inadequacies, show my insufficiencies and fear, because they say always put your best left
good
front.
thought.
Your
Yes.
best front. So that means you must appear strong, you must show strength in every situation, in every condition. And when it now has to be being authentic, being open, share what your feelings are, share what your state are at that situation are. Yeah, well, like, how will I share the things that I'm afraid of? Won't I? Won't I be, despised? Won't I be rejected? And I remember that when I was married, and my wife would say, "What am I feeling?" I say, "I'm not feeling it. I can only share what I'm thinking, what I think about the issue, and not what I feel." And that takes me to why is it easy for women to be vulnerable, to even share they ask them the question, they say this is their feeling, this is what they are thinking, this is how they felt about the issue, and men bottled up and don't come easily when it comes to sharing feelings, their inadequacies, their insufficiency, how they feel about issues, especially in their marriage. Why do you think it's easier for women, for wives, and a little difficult for husbands and for men?
Um, well, I think you've touched it a little, because it's what society and our culture has shaped us men into. So I will just tie it to socialization and possibly uh, gender norms, because from a young age, the disparity and the distinctions that our parents make between the boy child and the girl child, it's so apparent. Um, and so one can also see it in basic things like what kind of toys do you buy for your boy child? So you buy football, you buy soccer ball, you buy guns, you buy. I'm just looking at things that parents buy for their boy male children. They buy guns, they buy soccer ball, they buy the toys that majorly we buy for our male children, toys that they are going to use outside. But when you come to the girl child, baby dolls, um, teddy bears, things that they are going to take care of inside. Where do you play ball? Most of the time, it's not inside the house. You
Yeah.
play it outside the house. Where do you shoot guns? Outside the house. So even the toys that we give both genders already tell what is being expected of you. Like you're not supposed to stay in, go out and play. And when you look at the toys again, and just using toys now, when you look at the toys again, what some toys are void of emotions.
Mm.
Why? If you look at a baby doll, for instance, you see that how a child wants to sleep, a girl child wants to sleep with a teddy bear and hug it. So even if mommy is not around, the teddy bear provides the comfort. How many boys will sleep with their soccer ball on their bed?
Mm.
So right from when we were young, we were unconsciously being cultured as male children to act and behave in a certain way. So socialization, gender norms, I mean, from a young age, we are also told, it's not strange that you heard that boys are not supposed to cry. So if
Yeah.
my son is crying, for instance, now the tendency is to say, come on, will you stop crying? You are a boy. So a child like that is hearing, I'm a boy, I'm not supposed to cry. I'm a boy, I'm not supposed to cry. There's something it does to his mental state. So, and then when you you probably go to school, and I'm just going back to how we were raised. You probably
Mm.
go to school and then you didn't do well, or you come home crying that one of your classmates beats you, and your dad or your mom is saying, "How can your classmate beat you and you are crying? Why didn't you fight back? Why didn't you beat the classmate?" Something like that. And so a child feels, no, when I cry, I show signs of failure, I show signs of weakness, and my parents are not willing to see that in me. So I must be grown or man enough to handle my stuff. So it starts from parenting, it starts from when we were being raised, it starts from how we were treated and how we were raised.
I remember a certain time we went for immunization. I had a junior sister, immediate junior sister, and when we go for immunization, they gave us immunization. She'll be crying, and when I want to cry too, because I feel pain, they'll tell, "Why am I
Mm.
crying?" I'm saying even just as little as 3 or 4. Why are you
Mm.
crying? Can't you muscle up the
Mm.
pain? You are a man, and my sister is allowed to cry and they will pet her. These are even nurses,
Mm.
they'll say, "Hey, come on,
Wow.
be strong. Show why you are great. Show why you are strong. Show why you are a
Wow.
man. Show how you need to grow strong. This pain is too small. Bear it." And I
Wow.
can say these things. I'm just remembering those scenarios. And even when we're in secondary school, I think that was in JS1, when you come late, that was in the north, they usually have to flog you. You come in late. Those times,
Mm.
that was in government secondary school. They have
Mm.
to.
Are you there? Are you there? I can no longer hear you. I can no longer hear you. If you can hear me.
Hello, yeah, can you hear me?
I can hear you now. I think I lost you for some seconds.
Okay. And so in this, sorry for that break in transmission. And they will flog maybe five strokes of cane, irrespective of your gender. When you come back to the class and it happened that you cried when they were flogging you, the men in the class will laugh, including the laugh, but the women, nothing, they are ladies. You see,
Yeah, yeah.
because different, when we have the same punishment, we are expected to react differently to the punishment.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
And I also remember one time when in the village, there's this rite of passage for men, where you go through a culture in order to be initiated in the masquerade. And there they have to show you horror and intimidating things to brave you up, to make you feel strong. And they'll tell you stories of heroes in the society who have shed their blood, done amazing things. And we see, even when we watch films, we see that those who are villains, those who are strong, are men, and they
Yeah,
can
yeah,
go
yeah.
any kind of torture without revealing either a secret. So even in the films we watch, in the books we read, we see a lot of this culturalization and
Yeah, true.
upbringing is different from the men. And even when you have something done to you by your sister who is a girl, they will judge in favor of her when they are to apologize to you, and they'll tell you it is because you are a man.
You're a
And this
man.
referring is just a 6-year-old boy. Do you have any experience of your growing up where they structured you to say that you are a man, don't share your emotions, don't cry, don't show any bit of feeling that you are weak? And how did it affect you?
I actually identify with that one that you shared. I mean, you probably commit the same offense with some other classmates in class, boys and girls, and then you go back to the class and you are crying, and your fellow boys begin to make fun of you. That happened to me growing up. They begin to make fun of you, and you see, because you know that you you feel the pain of the beating, but because you know that you don't want your classmates to laugh at you, you bottle it in. And I will just carry on as if I was not, it didn't affect me because of fear that
Yeah.
my classmates will judge me. But you know what happened? So I will muzzle it in, but when I am not alone at home, I will now
Mm.
break down into tears. So, but in front of people, I dare not show that emotion. In front of my mate, I dare not show that emotion because my not showing that emotion I mean, they become, it's like I receive accolades. It's like they applaud me for being strong. And because I got that kind of experience, it fueled my desire to always contain the emotion so that I do not drop the ball. So in class, for instance, there are about 3 of us that were identified as no matter how many strokes of cane they give us. In fact, we sometimes even do it as competition. You know how they'll say, stretch your hands and just do like this. So it became a competition whereby if you stretch your hands, supposing a teacher is supposed to give you 12 strokes of the cane, and you stretch your hands like this, and you are bringing it back and rubbing it to stretch again, you are in a second or third tier level. The first tier level are the people who stretch their hands and they will not remove it for the 10 straight strokes of cane. So you can imagine, we were even placing ourselves in classes of how tough we were. So I identify with that story because I remember, as I tell you this, I remember it vividly. St. Anthony's Grammar School, JS1. So we competed like that. So even the teachers began to design other ways to punish us. And as they were designing it, we were also bracing up to the challenge. Can you hear me? Oh boy, I think I lost you again there. All right, I can't hear you. I see that the picture has frozen. So I don't know whether it's from my end or your end.
Okay. Okay, go on. Sorry for that.
I'm not sure you heard. Okay. So yes, I was just sharing my experience when I was in GS1 in St. Anthony's Grammar School, in Ogun State, and how us boys began to compete on how tough we were when we're being punished or when we're caned for offenses that we committed and all that. And so yeah, I mean, and if you were raised like that, if you have been, if that's the culture that produced you, chances are that when you now begin to feel pain as an adult, the tendency is for you to muzzle it and not show it. And then, because we have already defined it as that is how to be a man, it further, what's the word to use now? It further prevents us from connecting with the women, with our girlfriends, and with our wives. Yeah, so it started back then. It started from how we were raised. Our caretakers, our guidance, those are the things that they promoted. They promoted toughness for the boy child. They promoted strength for the boy child. They promoted you don't show emotions, you have to be a man for the boy child. And so that's how we grew up. And so when we are now that we are grown up, we are wondering why should we be different? Yeah.
You know, this reminds me about the recent happenings about that guy, is it in Abuja, that murdered the girlfriend, and in Anambra, I think, where a man, poured, fuel on the wife, and the wife later died, to this young guy in US, that committed suicide as a result of struggling
Yeah.
relationship.
Yeah.
And I begin to wonder, when men struggle to in emotional vulnerability, how does it really affect our society? Is it what the impact of what we are just saying with these three people I just gave an example with? How does it shape our society?
I saw a video, was it yesterday or 2 days ago, even this morning, where a man and his wife and I think 3 children went to the pastor, and the man was complaining that the wife was beating him. And even his complaint was that the wife, he was telling her to stop beating him in front of the children. So in my mind, I'm like, this man is not even saying don't beat me. He's saying don't beat me in front of the children. Now, the domestic violence got to a point whereby even now his children beat him. I don't know how far it is true, but I watched it, and they were before their pastor. And you know, to answer your question, it was a reaction of the congregation that got my attention. As this man was sharing his pain, the congregation was laughing at the fact that he was talking about his wife beating him. It was a comedy show for them. It was a joke. And you see, a man sees that kind of reaction and wonders why he should share. I think if you share it, they will laugh me to scorn. So you find a lot of men that are going through stuff and they cannot come out and voice it because of how the society will respond to them. I mean, how can you? It's shameful for you to come out and say, "My wife beats me." How can you tell that when you are when you are with your friends? It's shameful. They will laugh. They will be wondering, and you call yourself a man. So if he cannot say it before his friends, if he cannot tell his pastor, and the response is get, where will he share it? So you find out that so many times, lots of men just bottle it till they can no longer hold it. and their last result would possibly be to take their lives.
Yeah.
For the man you cited, the story you cited in the US, I think they went to court, and I
Yeah.
think he was told to pay $15,000 for childcare or something, and then he just took his life because he just felt, what's the point? Where am I supposed to start from? How am I
Mm.
supposed to do that? So where is the channel? Where is the safe space when men have issues? Because unconsciously, society believes we are not supposed to. We are not supposed to have issues. And even if we have them, we are supposed to figure it out. So it's a challenge today. And when you find a man who is committing suicide, who is taking his life, it's because we do not have those channels where men can be vulnerable. We do not have those safe space channels where men can express their thoughts, express their feelings, and be able to confidently say that I am not doing well.
Mm.
I am not happy. I watched a video. I will say this and then, just stop. I watched a video where a man was interviewing a lady and he was asking her, so are you happy in your marriage? She was asking the woman. And she said, yes, I'm happy. This and this happens. And just began to tell the things that happens in a marriage, that's why she's happy. And then the man asked her, is he happy? And do you know that for the next 10 seconds, she didn't know how to answer the question. And she got upset that, why would you be asking whether he's happy? Is he happy? It was a question that she was not prepared for. That is that supposed to be a question? Why will you be asking me whether he is happy? And that is the society that we are in. That's the society that we are in.
And to add to what you share, especially when it comes to our marriage, is that when men are afraid to be vulnerable, it affects their intimacy. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
wherever you are asked how are, like you said, you are asked, are you enjoying the sex? Do you like the food? And you want to cover up with the idea that if you say what you feel at that moment, you may be too critical. You may be looked as being an ungrateful person. You may looked as somebody who is demanding too much.
Mm.
And I also see that sometimes do our wives really want us to be vulnerable? Do they want us to actually say what we feel? Do they
Can they
have
handle it?
yes, do they have the muscle to handle it?
Can they handle it?
And they handle it because sometimes the pretense saves us and gives us some kind of immunity. You know,
Yeah.
imagine you
Yeah.
lost your job and you are being demanded always to drop money unnecessary, even without demand. And suddenly you lost a contract or a job. And you know, when you come back to now, like, share how you lost the job, how will you wake up the next morning and still be respected?
What attitude will you get
What
when
attitude
you are
will
not
you
able
get
to drop money again?
when you are not able to drop money? And so we see in counseling men who have lost their job and will not even share with their partner.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't even want them to know. They'll just wake up in the morning and they just go and come back, even when they are not doing anything, post until they had a job. Even when they borrow money, they can't say they are borrowing this money because they
Yeah.
want to just be the man. They want to muscle up, put up a proud face, and really say, this is a man showing up. But internally, they are really dying.
Mm.
It also,
Mm.
yes, it also makes the family full of tension because
Yeah.
when you need to be soft, when you need to be a lamb, when you need to like express that I'm tired, I am weak, I can't able to do this or solve this, you
Mm.
say yes to every demand
Yeah. Yeah.
until maybe you can no longer do that. So we find a situation where it seems the man is wearing a mask
Yeah.
always, a mask always, because the demand and the responsibility within the family is so much on him. We also see where some men lack the ability to say no. I don't agree with this idea. I don't agree with this proposition. I don't agree with this intention. This will not work. Because there's a kind of intimidation that a man may face in the relationship and in the marriage. Everything becomes yes, yes, until there's a total breakdown.
Yeah.
Until there's a total breakdown. So somehow, even in the relationship, I can't just say how I feel about the thing, even when I'm asked, because how you respond to it will determine if I will respond with vulnerability the next time.
Exactly. That's it. That's the thing. Because, and that's an understanding that some women do not have. That's the reason why I mean, a lot of women will complain that their partners shut down, no longer connect with them, but they can't trace it to the response they gave when he was vulnerable, when he expressed his thoughts that made him shut down. They would not be able to connect it to it. But because there was a time that he was vulnerable and he expressed himself, and how you responded, whether your attitude, whether you giggle or laugh, just communicated to him that, okay, this is not allowed here. This is not permitted here. I had a neighbor once who I mean, you were talking about a man losing his job. I had a neighbor once who lost his job. And as a result, he wakes up in the morning, and because of shame, this guy will wake up in the morning and just dress up and drive out, and drive to town, find a restaurant, and just sit there. Buy meat pie and coke and eat and stay till afternoon when he'll return home. He did it for 2 months. His wife did not know that he lost a job. When he eventually was able to tell the wife, I mean, she was supportive. She provided the care and help. She was not even, she didn't diss him in any way. She was just supportive. Okay, what are we going to do to get another job? What are we going to do from now on and all that? And they were going through the process. The next challenge he had to face was the neighbors. Because now that his wife knew, so he didn't have to be driving out in the morning and pretending that he had a job.
Yes.
But because his car would stay in the compound, the neighbors knew that this person was not going out to work. And so the ridicule and the disrespect started coming. And when he realized that he could not manage it, he reverted back to driving out to a restaurant and staying. So I say that to say that sometimes, even what the pressure the society puts on the man, you are not supposed to have a break time. You're not supposed to have a downtime. Nothing is supposed to go wrong with you. You are just supposed to be on point 24/7. How is that possible? How is that possible? How is that possible? Because sometimes some of our downtimes are springboards for breakthroughs. So when a man is pretending during that phase and he can be vulnerable with people around him, with his family, and gain the strength to come back better and stronger, eventually he can wallow in depression, and eventually it can be counterproductive. Yeah, so it's a challenge that a lot of men face.
So if you are there, please, you can send in your questions and we'll attempt to answer them in regard to the topics. How men who struggle with emotional vulnerability in relationship can overcome it. And so we are going now to be looking at how has the role models we have for men or for boys, has it helped positively or negatively in building the next generation of men to be vulnerable? Looking at how we look at this, we respected our fathers, our uncles in our society. These are people who, through their behavior, will learn how to be men, will learn how to be fathers, will learn how to even be in the society. Are these people actually good and role models that will think that if we follow their footsteps and how they reacted to issues, do we think we had good role models when it comes to vulnerability in men? Because why I ask this is that every generation is a mirror of the generation coming before it. Because naturally, by socialization, what we see, what we watch, somehow how men behave in society tend to make us think when we are growing up or when we become mature, we are to behave likewise. We have to behave in the same manner because this is men. And the second question leading that is there a hormone responsible why men sometimes are toxic, expressing masculinity? Is masculinity about beating, fighting, going to war, shouting, making everybody afraid of you? People can't ask you questions even within your home. Where you are coming in, you bone up, you man up.
In fact, when they
People,
hear the sound of your car, they run out.
yes,
They
yes.
run to hide.
You know, you remember sometimes when you are hanging at your friends, and I've seen scenario like that, and your wife called, well, please, where are you? And maybe it's like 10 p.m. They'll ask you who is calling. You say your wife, say, because you are babying her.
Mm,
Because you are babying her. Look at
mm,
him, look at her asking you, where are you?
mm,
What's the right of a woman to ask you where? And
mm, mm,
when they come back, when their wife look at their face, you dare not ask it.
mm.
So how do we think men has become toxic as a
Okay.
result of bad modeling, in the
I
society?
mean, if I'm going to be honest, I'm not. I will say that we are not really privileged
Yeah.
to have many role models around us when it comes to vulnerability, because it's a dog fight out there.
Mm,
It's like men are very competitive.
mm,
Your friend gets a new car, it's already pressure for you that you are not sitting up and you are not doing well enough. Look at it this way. I have observed this a number of times. Find any gathering of men, as in 4 or 5 guys together talking. They never, hardly, let me not say they never, hardly would they talk about themselves. They are talking about politics, they are talking about sports, they are talking about governance, they are talking about probably Trump, they are talking about a lot of things apart from themselves. Hardly will you see 4 or 5 guys talk about and say, this is the challenge I'm having in my marriage. This is the hardly. You cited an instance where a guy will say, where a wife will call a guy and he will be telling her, "Where are you?" I have a personal story. It was one December like that. So I usually will go for retreat in December, a personal retreat, maybe
yeah.
around 27 or 28. So I'll go to an hotel and probably spend 3 days. So myself and this other friend in church decided that we should have our retreat together. So he came to the house to pick me, and then we left around 3 p.m. Watch. The journey, the commute to the hotel was just about an hour. So, like in an hour, we should be at the hotel and settle down and start our retreat. So, but he now told me as we were going that we needed to get to a supermarket, he needed to get some groceries, to get some toiletries and stuff like that. And then from the supermarket, he said he wanted to still branch at his house to pick another box. And then we went to the house. So by the time we're getting to the hotel, it was around 8 p.m. And then my wife's call came in. We were just entering with our boxes, and my wife's call came in. And then my wife said, where are you? You guys have settled in now? Because as far as she was concerned, We left 3 o'clock. It was 1 hour trip. We should have settled 4 hours. I mean, it's 8 p.m. And I was now saying, no, we are just getting here. Nedum, I'm telling you sincerely, this guy almost grabbed my phone from me. Like, Juma, what's wrong with you? Why would you be telling her that we're just coming in? She believes we are here. So we are here. That's it. All you needed to say was, yes, we have settled in. What's wrong? Are we not here? And I just went ahead and said, no, we're just getting in. And my wife was going to say, this is 8 p.m. So where did you guys go? I said, so this person, I don't want to mention it. This person, we went to supermarket, he was furious. And so I finished the call. And then I was now saying, so what's wrong with you? What kind of a man are you? He was telling me, my friend, my Christian friend, my Christian brother. We had come there to have retreat, spiritual.
Yeah.
You know, as I remember this story, it still makes me laugh till today. Then how can you be? I said, but that's the truth. And I said, no. You don't tell women, you don't talk to women like that. That's not what she wants to hear. She just wants to hear. See, that conversation was long now. Supposing you have told her, yes, we have settled in, that conversation will not last more than 40 seconds. But now, because you have to explain, you don't have to explain everything. And then I told him that, no, that's not how I run things.
Yeah.
I give details. I just told him, I said I give details. In fact, I can't even tell you. If anybody should go to my blog, I wrote a poem as a result of that encounter with him. And it was, I give details. Because I don't want to be bothering my head about, okay, what did I say the last time? What am I now going to say now? And blah, 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 like that. So a lot of times, and I shared this story to say that even in Christian fold, that you were supposedly believe that they will be truthful, they will be honest. Some of these cultural, societal norms and mindset about how a man should relate with the wife is still strong. Because some men believe, no, you don't get, you just tell a woman what she needs to hear. You don't. So I'm not proud to say we have not been privileged to have lots of role models, because our conversations as men are really externals. They are not anything to do with emotional. And if you go into talking about the personal struggles you have, there's nobody to probably share counsel or tell you how you need to go about it. You just say, my guy, man up. What's that? You can just handle it. No problem. Like that. That's what you get to hear. So, and if you look at our elders today, how many gatherings do we see where some of these role models or elders sit with young men to mentor, to tutor, to coach, or to teach them? But that's what happens with our women. A grandma will come to the house and you will see them gather around in the kitchen. While they are cooking, they are having serious conversations. While they are dicing the onions or the tomatoes, they are talking about real issues. But for us, it's sports, it's politics, it's this, it's that. So they are few and far between when we talk about moral models. And that's a challenge to us, that conversations like this need to continue to happen. And we need to have men conversations more often, so that at least we can see how we can prepare the next generation to do better than what we have received. Yeah.
And so that brings me to what we have been saying, that because we didn't have such or much of those models around us, our generation should be held responsible if those who are coming up do not see us have this kind of conversation, this kind of being vulnerable. I remember when I will also teach in the church, and if I share my vulnerability during relationship, when they are praising you or after they talk, say, how can you be sharing something you be shy of? Are you getting me? Why should you share something you be shy of? You are the preacher. Everything you show must exemplify excellence. But we are human. And you now see some people coming to say, because you show your vulnerability, I connected to your story,
Yeah.
to you like a human. I
Yeah.
felt that I'm in this journey alone. I felt that even in my struggles, other people are also struggling in one way or the other to become
Mm.
better. I am not saying the perfect person, and me is only the unperfect person.
Mm.
And
Mm.
because we want to show strength always, we make the younger people think it's all about competition, it's all
Yeah.
about what you get, your cars, your building, your net worth, who you are shouldering, the number of people that are under you. They didn't see the other side that make us human.
Mm. Mm. True. True. True.
And when you look at our country, Nigeria today, you now see a lot of spraying of money. And you're
Mm.
like, please, if you don't do such for a party or for the party for your wife, as much as these things you are saying, you are not a real man.
Yeah.
So this pressure also now make the young people go into crimes. They don't have delayed gratification again. They are not patient enough. They don't believe in gradual building up.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we
Yeah.
turn around to say that the young men of these days have become animalistic in nature. But because we fail to show them what it also means to be a human, to also be willing to cry, to also willing to say, I'm sorrowful, be willing to even apologize, willing to say sorry when I'm wrong, not just
Yeah.
in your relationship, but also in society, because a man is a human being. And as we are rounding up, let's now answer, how do we now help men who are struggling to be emotional vulnerable in their relationship? What are the secrets? What are the apathy ways? What are the things you are going to help them? What are the tools that we think will now, help them to now be the kind of man they need to be, the human they need to be, the person who had emotions? Because sometimes they think, those teachings we hear those times, men are rational, women are emotional.
Mm.
Those teachings those days,
Yeah.
men are
Yeah.
rational,
Yeah.
women are emotional,
Are you
men are not
saying those
supposed
days?
to.
They are still teaching them these days. It's not those teaching those days, oh. They do. It's teaching these days. Those teachings are still common.
So how do we help men who are struggling emotionally now to overcome it? Because
Uh,
when we look at the first one in my position, or what I think is about awareness
yeah.
of
Yeah.
what we are doing now, is creating awareness.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Because
think.
those who are here with us live and those who will watch after this, seeing us discussing, we are creating awareness. We are making men know that it is okay. It's okay to cry. It's okay to be
Yeah.
angry. It's okay to
Yeah.
be sorry. It's okay to know how you respond to situations in life. It's okay to share those things that you are not proud of. It's okay to ask for help.
Yeah. Yeah.
So awareness is part of what we are doing now, and by such contribution to society and what we are also showing by modeling, we now begin to say, to be a real man is also to show you are human, because
Yeah.
emotion is part of us. It is not just a feminine thing, it's part of us
Very
that
true.
are human.
Very
And the
true.
moment we are aware of who we are and we know how to express it, it will help a lot. And so, can you continue? What are other things you think?
I will start also by, I will just throw that line. One of the major ways to overcome uh when you struggle with vulnerability is also to be vulnerable, because there can't be self-awareness or growth without vulnerability. If I share, I come from a polygamous home, and so I know certain things were uh installed in me that were not going to be very, very helpful. I remember vividly the first time I hugged my mom was when I was 10 years old, and it was on my 10th birthday. That was the first time. So it was an environment that did not allow for such. I mean, my brothers, my stepbrothers, everybody, we were raised somehow. I don't have the time to be sharing all that story. But you see, but I know very well. I can even still remember where exactly it happened, what I was wearing the first time I hugged my mom. And one of my stepbrothers saw that and laughed because he felt like that was odd, that was not normal. What was that? But you know, it started my journey on self-awareness. And one of the things that we can do to overcome is to begin to question some of these things, some of these harmful beliefs that somebody has sold to us. Like, why is it wrong to hug? Why is it wrong to display affection in public? Who made it wrong? So, if you can begin to question some of the things that have been sold to us, or be aware that the people that sold this thing to us, sold these beliefs to us, they lived a life maybe 100 or 200 years ago. It probably worked for them and is no longer working now. That is the place to start. Another way we can start is for us men to start sharing our stories. It's not, we don't have many, you're talking about role models. One of the ways that role models can impact the men and help in this regard is share your story, share your struggles, share how you overcame, share the journey. You can put it in a book. You can, if you have an opportunity to speak, share the story. Let us know that it has not always been like this. That this was not how you have always been. And these stories, they have a way of inspiring and encouraging other people to know that, okay, I'm on a journey. I'm probably 31 right now, and I'm trying to model my life after a man that is 55 and have all the things that he has. I should be able to let myself know that when he was 31, it wasn't like that. So, and that can give me hope that I'm also on a journey and I'll get there someday. So even the men that are there, that are up there, they need to begin to share their stories. That it is not always hunky-dory, as in always goody-goody. So we need to question some of the beliefs that our parents or grandparents or forefathers or society sold to us. And we also need to question some of the things that we do. So who said that it is wrong for a man to cry? Who made it so? I watch soccer sometimes. I watch Champions League final and I see these boys lose a match and they cry on the field. Where there are thousands of people watching, they are crying. So who said men cannot cry? I mean, the last two Champions League matches now, final matches, the people who lost, the team who lost, cried on the field, and that's in a public place. So who said men don't cry? Who made the rule that men don't cry? So why are they crying? So if it touches you and it makes it brings out certain emotion, express it. There is no shame in it. There is no shame in it. There is no shame in it. And you see, you cannot boldly have self-awareness and grow if you are not vulnerable. So your growth is locked in your vulnerability. Your growth. So if you are holding yourself back from being vulnerable, you are holding back your growth.
Can men also? I want to add this. Can men have support group? Support group whereby we have 3 or 4 friends. We can share our fears. We can share our concerns. Women have a lot of support groups. Every time you see them, have a support group in relation to what they are passing through in life. If men begin to have such support groups, it will help. Because in people sharing their experiences, you will learn what to avoid. You will learn how to use language. You learn how to look at the things that people have passed through. You learn how to process even your thoughts. And one of the things I also practice is meditation. When I practice meditation, it allows me to process what I'm feeling per time. how my day has been. If I have a challenge in business or in relationship, I want to see what emotions I felt, how I contributed to either the deepening of that crisis or why it didn't work. So that meditation for me helps me to like look from another level, from a point of projecting, look at the things and detach myself at that moment, and I could like pinpoint, all the things I think that I didn't say well, maybe I didn't act well, and I now like, okay, that maybe now I need to forgive myself. I need to
Mm.
go out. I need to now reach out, because somehow not everybody should be blamed. I should be part of that blame. And again, some people can also, process their emotions. Some like to do that in sports. Some during boxing, any kind of sports they like, they usually also use it to like process how they feel. Some could also be journaling. You can start writing your emotions, because when you lack the vocabulary for your emotions, it's also
Mm.
difficult to put what you are feeling per time.
Yeah, that's
And
true.
even because sometimes men have, will I say, shorter or lesser language for feelings,
Yeah,
and that's
yeah.
also communication. Another one I want to add is self-care.
Mm.
When you are vulnerable, you are taking care of your mind, you are taking care of your soul. Because when we begin to bottle up a lot, one day there will be outbursts,
Definitely.
and that outburst will be very violent. That outburst could be something that, even when you remember your behavior after that moment, you'll be wondering, is it me? Because there's so much bottled emotions,
Yeah.
so much bottled emotions. And so we have talked a lot, we have shared a lot. And Jewel, please, in 1 minute, what's your parting word?
I mean, before I even say that, it's also add. You asked a question. Oh, sorry, it's power cut from here.
Okay, go on.
You asked a question that can men have support groups? And I'm going to take you up on that. Why are we not starting one already?
Ah, yes, 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 I
I
get
mean,
it.
I
Rather
mean,
than
we
asking
can
what
just
is
get.
the
I
shame.
mean, we can stop asking the question and begin to make efforts, taking steps towards this, and then why can't we create one already tonight?
Mm,
And maybe start
I
with the
love
people on this call, on this
I
meeting,
love
and
that.
begin the conversation already. And that is
Yeah.
one way of us already contributing our own quota to overcoming and also changing the narrative or the mindset out there. So I'd like to say that to that question: can men have? Let us leave it. Let us move beyond the question now. Let's start doing.
Let's
Okay.
start. I,
The other thing I'm going to say to all the things, because you've already said, I mean, several things that men can do, is to um, I just want to abuse perfectionism
mm,
and or disabuse it and say it's okay not to be okay.
mm,
Make it okay not to be okay. That I mean, there are times you may not get it right, and it's fine. And I say that to some man out there, some friend out there, some young guy out there who feels that he has to be perfect. He has to be able to dot all the I's and cross all the T's at all times. And I just want to let you know that it's okay not to be okay. It's okay. Helpers also need help sometimes. Supporters also need support. So it's okay for you to express your need or your feeling that, okay, I can't do this. And if you're unable to do it, it's okay. Make it okay.
wow. Radical
Nothing is nothing is
self-acceptance.
wrong with you. Nothing is wrong with you.
Nothing is wrong
Absolutely
with
nothing is wrong with you. And in that expression and in that vulnerability is your strength and is your growth. So shun perfectionism and just be your authentic self. And whatever if you have listened to this now, whatever baby steps you are making now, celebrate your small wins. It's a journey. You may not be there in one day, but the fact that you are beginning to make that process, make that progress, celebrate it. So anytime you get the opportunity to express yourself, maybe at home with your family or with your partner or in the midst of your friends, regardless of the reaction that you get, be proud of yourself. Be proud of yourself because you have just done something that possibly is not comfortable for you. So celebrate your small wins, regardless of how people react or respond to it. Yeah.
Wow,
That-
what a wonderful section. I just feel like we could go on and go on and on. But time is not on our side. And like Joel, you said, why can't we start one? This is what we have just started, and we've just started it because this is about real men, real talk. And
yeah.
it's a part of the movement because we want men to come up and share. So we'll be having you some other time. It's an interesting conversation. I love your perspective and the energy you brought to this conversation and also your experience. Thank you so much for honoring our platform. And as we keep sharing this, let's go out and make the world a better place by raising real men that we have the ability and capacity to lead in families, to have flourishing relationship and be the best version of themselves. We deserve to be happy. And on the other note, we also deserve to be the men that women will also respect and honor as we respect and honor them too. And so if you are out there, my name is still Nedun Wobi, the Odogo of Family Systems and the King of Happiness, also the co-founder of Start Your Marriage Right Academy. We'll be having this conversation some other in the future, and we'll let you know what the topic is. If you love what we are doing, if you like what we're doing, tell your friends, share the message, let them come, let them learn. We can only get better when we share our experiences
Yeah.
with one another. Once again, Joel, thank you. My
Thank you
regards
for
to your
having
wonderful
me.
family. I love what we just did. I'm looking forward for more opportunities like this. And to all our viewers all over the world, wherever you are, that has joined us, thank you. For those who also later watch, we appreciate you support us by sharing this message. We deserve to raise real men for the future and also for today. Goodbye.
Studio. The last you will see Leaf Studio. Click on it.